Yo, we're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship. I guess I don't know what this chair is. I guess it's like a massage chair from the massage chair house, or the word massage chair house. I'm not sure. It's a new Woodward Sports sponsor, but this thing is huge. I feel like it's one of those hyperbolic chambers. I like slid my feet into it. It's not on right now. I don't know how to turn it on. But there's a knob right here. There's a button. This thing is. It's like it's strange. Your like arms can like weirdly slot into the sides, like right here. So I my feet are almost too big for it. Like my heels are at the back, and like my big toe is touching. Like one of my toes is like curled up a little bit to fit. So I don't. My feet might be a little bit big for this. So anyone else who has similar sized feet might struggle. But I'm a little thrown right now. I just this thing's throwing me off. Either way, we're back here in the lounge. Now that we've gotten used to the chair, we'll just dive back into whatever. And I'm rocking the old institution today. Proud alumnus of Jackson College, formerly Jackson Community College, now Jackson College. Go Jets, Jets, Jets. And fire up Central Michigan as well. But Jackson College, man, first family member to go to college, first family member to graduate from college. Although it was a 2-year associate degree, still got it done. Still went back, finished out with university with the bachelor's. But either way, like rockin' Jackson, hometown, and yeah, like I said, I mean, people I feel like hate on the community college a little bit, but nothing wrong with it, man. I enjoyed it, and it helped me save some money, so appreciate that. This chair, man, I trying to get over it still, but it's just throwing me off for fucking sure, man. It's a pretty cool color, but man, this is gonna be interesting, like the new dynamic in the show and such. Like, I don't know. There's like zippers and stuff on this, and like compartments. Like, I don't even know what's going on with this thing. Obviously, you have this like screen, but we'll see. Like I said, I don't giving out free feet right now, but I don't know how I feel about the foot thing. It's throwing me off. It's like my feet are too big, but then I can't like rest my feet comfortably. You can see big feet right there. Uh, oh well, man, this is definitely a wrench in the things. Not really a wrench, but it's an interesting dynamic, to say the least. You know, Either way, it's. I don't know. I think I might go back to the booth. I don't know if I like this. Back in the booth, I couldn't do the chair. It was throwing me off, man. It was like being in an egg. This is probably a great way to describe it too. The thing is egg shaped, but it just felt weird. It felt uncomfortable. The chair itself is very comfortable, but the sitting in it and like I don't know, it just felt a little awkward. So especially just trying to like talk. I don't know. The chair, we'll try it again later. Right now, it ain't it. I gotta get back to the booth. And although I do like the audio a little bit better from out there, we'll deal with it because gotta get a rhythm, gotta get a flow, and currently there's no Joe in the mo of that chair. So once we get it rock and rolling, once it's on, and you get it rolling, get the massage features cranking away, help help relax and ease away whatever tensions you might be feeling. But either way, we're back to the booth, rocking the Jackson College, like I said. Shout out Jackson College, Jackson, Michigan. South Central Michigan is like right here, basically. Yeah, almost directly in the middle of the state. Really not important. What is important is geography. Well, sort of. We were joking around about this yesterday on some of like the Woodward shows and whatnot. Either way, I like diving into geography. I think there's some really cool YouTube channels that cover different areas, visually, like exploring, the region, with the drone footage or just hiking trails. Also, I think like, maps are really cool. There's this guy I enjoy watching, Geography King. Kyle, my guy. I say my guy, but I really don't know him at all. But it's just such a fun videos to watch, like these walk arounds, these top tens, these bottom tens, the cool maps that he shows. So, I'm a geography nerd a little bit, and I think it's cool just knowing where places are, and like gives you an idea of like where you might want to travel to and stuff like that. It's nice having, a little bit of adventure, in your life to seek. Nothing wrong with chasing adventure, but yeah, I mean, I think one place I'm really hoping to go to at some point, and I honestly I wish I could just up and move there for a few years, just like in 27. Wouldn't mind like living from like 28 to like 31, 33 or something, like maybe even like the rest of my life. Who knows? So, like, nothing really holding me back. But just going out to Australia, man. Like, it's such a big place. I don't think people realize like how big Australia is. If you're looking at like the contiguous United States, it's nearly as large as the U.S. And then some really cool places to check out, like Melbourne, Sydney. I really want to go to Perth and Darwin, which are like in the northwest and the west coast of Australia. What's up, JB?
What's up?
Not much, man. You see that chair, dude?
I was gonna say, how come you're not doing the chase?
Dude. So we were in there. I had to switch it up. I was like, we tried it out. I equated it to like going into the gym, no warm up, no stretch, and just immediately going for your max rep. I was like, I should have like tested it out a little bit. I didn't know how to turn it on or anything. My feet are almost too big for it. Like
I'm sure we can figure it out.
Well, it's gonna take some warming up too.
Yeah.
But shout out JB, man, the first guest of the lounge, my guy, the best kept secret at Woodward Sports, ladies and gentlemen. So if you tap in, or even if you don't, he is, like I said, the best kept secret here. He's very, very talented and skilled, and knows a lot about how to operate and run, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that we do, and very undervalued. But either way, back to Australia, man. Like I said, Perth is on the, I guess, like the southwest coast, more like just like the west coast, but it is one of the most populated, isolated cities in the world, and it's like there's like certain criteria like fit to meet that description, but it has over 1 million people or a couple 100,000 people. I forget. Again, these geography videos do a really good job of explaining and breaking down these unique places, but it's very like quite populous place for how isolated it is, and like isolated, meaning like it takes a long time to travel there. There's no really other like major cities in the region. I want to say it's over a 12 or like 20 hour, which is a pretty big gap in difference, but either way, 12 hours is a long time too, just to like get to the next major city. The flights, there's no direct flights or that, so you have to like break them up, and again, very interesting, very isolated. I think Australia is you know, like the way that like people call Canadians and Americans very similar. I think Australians and Americans are similar, but you know, in different ways than the Americans and Canadians. I think like there's I don't know if I'm making sense, but I think there's certain like lifestyles and forms of entertainment and like I don't know like personalities maybe that like kind of convey more with like Australia and the United States compared to like Canada. I think hockey is such a big thing in Canada, and that's just not something that America really cares as much about. So I think like the lack of community that comes with skating and like playing hockey. I think it's like hockey. I think it's such a fun communal thing. You know, it doesn't matter like how much you may hate some motherfucker, you know, on or off the ice. Like it's, you know, it's you really can throw on that sweater and really get a bond going. I've played beer league for you know like 2 seasons. Is like you know in the fall and in the winter I suck. I can barely skate. You know I can skate a little bit. I can't stop really. So that's where I struggle. But you know we'll mosey around on the ice. Just get in front of the net. That's all I know how to do, and keep my stick on the ice. Did get a goal. Like I said, just get in front of the net, keep your stick on the ice, and you know maybe good things will happen. Good things happen when you get the puck on net. So you just gotta get the puck on the net when you get it on your stick. But yeah, I mean I don't know. I think that's just like speaking of Canada and geography, Banff. I think Banff, Lake Louise, or it might be Lake Luann, and I feel like a bit of a loser and a poser for getting it. I think like my on the spot for whatever reason, and the camera's on me, I freeze up a little bit. But either way, Banff, Banff, pretty spectacular looking place. I feel like it's someplace you've seen on the photo, like a photo of, and you're like, oh wow, like the picture of the lake, it's like so crystal blue. However, I don't know if maybe necessarily a lot of people would be like, oh yeah, that's Canada, or like, oh that's specifically Banff, Canada. But the Canadian Shield, man, I don't think people like understand like how many like lakes are in that area. Also too, like we have like the Great Lakes here in like Michigan, like the surrounding Great Lakes region, but Canada also has some pretty large lakes. Like Lake Winnipeg is pretty big. And although it's not like it's got like an average depth of only like 6 feet though, which is kind of interesting. But if you like ever take a look at a map just over Canada and you look in like the region above like the Dakotas and above Wisconsin and above Minnesota, you'll notice a lot of lakes. And if you think about it, like Minnesota, like the land of 10,000 lakes, kind of makes sense. You see those like you can almost see in like the rocks, like the way like the angle, like this dry the pattern in which like the glacial movement flowed and like just scraped across the ground. I part of me doesn't believe that. I was a kid, they were talking about like these glaciers moved, and I don't understand. It's like it's ice. Ice is not animate, like it's not sentient. You know, it's just water. Yet they were moving, and so it's I'm imagining like migration. I'm pretty stupid. I feel like most of the time. Like I try to understand things and make myself smarter. I think the goal is to be smarter, but overall, I just feel like I'm kind of an idiot. And so like, I don't understand how these glaciers would like move. And maybe somebody else can like understand or explain or feel and relate to this. But I'm wondering like, and now that I think about it, maybe it had something to do with gravity as well. But I just never understood how these like glaciers moved, and because they're so heavy. Like I can't imagine like they're scraping and like moving and shaping stuff, like carving out. Like I don't understand how like. I guess like have you ever seen like a farrier like carving like a horse hoof or like a bovine hoof or something? I guess like in my head like when I hear carve, like I'm thinking of that, or like someone like carving like a turkey or something like really like digging in there like with a shovel or something like that. So to me it's just I don't quite get it. I don't quite understand how these like glaciers carved it, because I don't imagine they're going back and forth. Like, I can see how like water like dripping on a stone would eventually like form a hole, or like how like a river flow would get deeper and deeper and like wider and stuff like that. That makes sense because it's like continuously flowing. However, what's making this glacier move? What's the force that's like giving it the movement? Like, I don't know. Like, someone please help explain. It's something that I never understood how. But I feel like a lot of stuff that we were taught growing up, it was just, you're a kid and they can just tell you whatever and you'll believe it. And then you get older and you're like, oh shit, like I was so naive. I think that's kind of like the theme of like we were talking about with JB the other day, is just like the naivety of some stuff as like as a young lad. Like as I get older too, I don't really subscribe into outer space, and like before we peel that back a little bit, like I understand it is real. It's just like the concept of like taking everything that we believe about space at face value currently is just not something I'm like fully bought into. There was at one point, less than 1,000 years ago, when we thought that the universe was geocentric, meaning the Earth was the center of the universe and everything revolved around the Earth. And then it took Copernicus to discover, and I want to say that was in like the 15th century, to discover that in fact the sun is the center of the universe. That is like the central star in our solar system, and all of the other planets and objects rotate around the sun, and we have the moons that rotate around the planets, and planets around the sun, the heliocentric universe. So obviously, like, it took us time to learn that and figure that out, and over time, who knows what else we might learn. I think what I unsubscribe to with outer space is like when you see those like big pictures of like the galaxy, and they're like super zoomed out, and it has like a little tiny arrow where it's like, this is the Milky Way galaxy inside of all of the universe, or inside of all of space, or like this is Earth inside of the Milky Way galaxy, or like this is our solar system inside of like, and it's almost like you're looking under a microscope at like cells or organisms, and you're like, oh yeah, this one, like this is the mitochondria, and this is the nucleus, and this is like like just parts of the cell or whatever. And like that's just not possible. Like, we cannot have a microscopic view, like that macro scaled lens of something, when you yourself are what is the object in the lens. Like, you can't, you know what I mean? Like, the cells that we look at in a microscope are never going to know what they looked like under a microscope, because they themselves are in the microscope. Like, I don't, maybe the logic is lost with me. I don't know, but that's where like I unsubscribe with space. I don't think that it's fake. I just think that like instead of calling that like what it is, I think we should just be like, this is our best interpretation of what we assume space to be, because it's not an actual image you're looking at. It is essentially an artistic rendering of either mathematical calculation, or if that's not it, it is legit just someone Jackson Pollocking some fucking stars on a screen and shit. Like, 'cause who are we to tell them wrong? Like, I mean, Nate Bargatze has a hilarious joke about scientists, and like, scientists have no accountability. Like, like when if they're wrong about something, like, we were just wrong. Like, like you're not in trouble for it. Like, you're not like taking a like your science isn't taken away, like your scientism. I who the fuck knows? Like, there's just no repercussion. Like, oh, we were just wrong. Like, oh yeah, like, cool. Like, if a doctor like fucks up, like, they're not a doctor anymore. Like, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like take a listen to the Nate Bargatze joke. He explains it a lot better, and he actually does it in a funny way. But I take it maybe a little bit too seriously, and I'm just like, hey, you're right. What the fuck? There is no repercussion for being wrong, at least in some instances. So, whatever. But yeah, space, man, it's interesting. I think I would get to try, like, if I was given the opportunity, like those ladies who went to space, I'd go, but, like, what's the point? I don't know. Like, you go up, you come back down. I have been skydiving. I think that's really fun. I think skydiving is one of the most freeing feelings that you can ever experience. And I can't remember. I heard it a couple of days ago, and I wish I would have wrote it down. But I think it might have been in relation to like drowning or something like that too. But it's like once you just accept what's happening, like the reason I say it's the most freeing thing ever, like skydiving, is like you're gonna go up, you're gonna jump out of the plane, and like you're gonna come down into the ground. Like that's just simply put what's gonna happen, and there's no way around it. You're either gonna land softly with the parachute, or you're gonna hit pretty hard, and it's gonna be at a very abrupt and messy landing. But either way, like when you like what goes up must come down. And once at least in my experience, like once I like signed the waiver, any anxiety and any nerves just immediately melted away. I was just like, oh yeah, like I'm doing this. Like they put the harness on, felt even more relaxed. They're like, asking me, like taking a little video, asking me like, what do you think? How you feeling about the jump? And I'm just like, yeah, man, like can't wait, looking forward to it, man. Can't like we'll do it again, honestly. And I hope to do it again. I'd love for like a squad trip to get up into the plane and jump out. But truly, like just you're up in the air and you're in free fall. I mean, there's nothing else like it. Like, you're weightless. It looks beautiful up in the air. Like I always thought those like images of everything looking kind of like grid like, in a gritty and like a square and was all fake from a plane. But then you finally get up there and you're like, oh wow, it's exactly what it looks like. And it's amazing. The blue, the white from the clouds, just the green, it pops. It's spectacular. I went in June, so it was like nice summertime, and just man, awesome. Like I said, there's no more free feeling than being up in the sky and just flying 9.8 feet per second towards the earth. But hopefully we'll figure out the chair that my boy JB is rocking and rolling in right now, looking all comfy cozy, and we can get our closest imitation of that free feeling in that fucking that golden egg chair that we have now in the studio. So hopefully maybe JB's able to figure out. He's a lot smarter than myself, so I'm gonna go mess around with him and see if we can get that rocking and rolling. But hope you guys have a good one. We'll see you alligators later.